So today I wanted to make a video going over my method for an Aeropress brewed coffee. Let's break down the equipment here. If you don't have an Aeropress, I strongly recommend getting one. It is a really cool device which doesn't cost that much money and makes some of the best coffee that I've had, and certainly the best coffee that I can make at home. It costs about $30, so somewhere in that range. What you've got is you've got a paper filter. And only because we're told to, I make sure to pre-wet this. I'm not sure I could really detect the paper flavor. I haven't done any testing on that, but you wet the paper filter that goes into this mesh. They make some permanent metal filters as well. I haven't tried that, although I wonder if it would taste like metal. You've got a stir stick, you've got a funnel to put your coffee into the device itself. Now, one of the coolest things about the Aeropress is that, there's a recipe book or a manual included with the device, which tells you, the way to make it. It turns out almost nobody uses that as their guideline. It seems to me that everybody has their own method that they've come up with, and this is mine. So what we've got 18 grams of coffee, although that's not what the scale says. I'm going to put my topper to that grinder back on. I end up with 18 grams of coffee. What we're going to do is put this on here for the funnel. I use and this is after a lot of trial and error. I guess the idea behind the grind size, and I'm no professional for sure, is that if you're brewing it for a relatively small period of time at a relatively high temperature, you want a grain size which is not really that large. So unlike a French press, it's going to be sitting there for several minutes where you maybe have a coarse grind. I end up using kind of a medium fine grain. It kind of looks like the sizes of kosher salt or something like that. So take this, pour it in the device. Now the method that I'm using, getting back to the fact that nobody actually seems to brew an Aeropress coffee the way the manual suggests, is I'm using what has been referred to as the inverted method. To be honest with you, I would probably have to sit with it for a few minutes to figure out the other textbook way to make it. This inverted method just makes more sense to me and has since the beginning. I ran into some issues the first time I tried to make it using the more proper method. Although it seems to me that most people do use this. So what we've got, I want to heat this kettle up again. We want to get the water to just below boiling. So I want it to boil for just a second. Now, pre-measured in the kettle is 240 milliliters of water. You don't necessarily have to measure that. Now, for water, each gram is a milliliter. You measure 240 grams of water, you're good to go. Or you can basically just, fill it up almost all the way, because that's what ends up happening. We've got our cup. What you do with the device is you actually turn this over after it's brewed onto the cup, and you plunge down into the cup to get that through this pre-wet paper filter into the cup of coffee. I've also got a timer on standby. What I'm going to do first is bloom the coffee. So I want to just soak the grounds with what comes out of this kettle. And then once that has soaked to my satisfaction, the bubbling has stopped, I'm going to fill it up the rest of the way, hit this timer, and we're good to go. Okay, it has just started to boil, so we're going to take that off. Now at this blooming stage, again, I'm just going to barely wet the grounds that are there. Okay, that should be good. And there's going to be some bubbling action to kind of assist making sure that all the grounds get covered. I'm going to go ahead and stir it. Now, everyone seems to have a different opinion on this as well. Some people say you don't want to tumble the grounds. You want to just turn them over so they get wet. I actually do give it kind of a proper stir. It's really arbitrary, just trial and error on my own. This is what works for me. Okay, I'm going to go into the cup, see the bubbling. It slowed down a little bit from where it started, so I'm going to go ahead and start the timer and fill her up. So again, this was pre-measured, so I'm just going to pour it out. But as you'll see, it basically just gets it, almost to the top. Okay. All right, now while we're waiting, I actually like to do a couple other stirs. So when it hits about the 1 minute mark, I want to go ahead and stir again. That wasn't supposed to happen. The next part of my method is to grab those paper towels